Right, this is a video on BEDMAS. So BEDMAS over here, brackets, exponents. So brackets, it's like a pair of brackets. Exponents, this is like to the either roots or powers. Division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. The reason why these are bracketed or boxed together in green is that they're the opposite of each other. Addition and subtraction, again the opposite to one another. So remember, this is BEDMAS. So what we're going to do is we're going to use BEDMAS to solve these mathematical equations, these sentences. So what I'll do is I'll write BEDMAS up here, and all I'll do is I'll just cross and tick which ones I'm using. So it should be fairly straightforward. No brackets. There are no exponents. There's no division, but there is multiplying, so I'm going to use that. And because multiplying is first, this is why I'm going to multiply 9 and 7 first. So 9 times 7 is 63. And I got that excited, I dropped my pen. Then I'm going to add 8. 63, add 8 is 71. Okay? So the reason why BEDMAS is used is because there is another way that you could have solved this equation if you didn't know or didn't use BEDMAS. So I'll write this up here. The other way you could have done it is you could have gone 7 add 8 is 15, and 9 times 15 is 135. Two completely different answers. So there has to be one correct way. And that's why BEDMAS is used, so that no matter who you are, what language you speak, you'll always solve the equations in the same way. So it's just a set of rules just to make sure that we all get the right or the same answer. Okay? So now let's have a look at this one. This is now 140 divided by 7, take away 6. So let's use BEDMAS to work out what we're going to do first. The reason why we have to use BEDMAS, because some of you might be like, yeah, but why not just do it from left to right? Well, the reason is in maths, it's not like English where you read from left to right, you can read backwards. And I'll show you an example of that once I finish this. But right now there is no brackets, so let's go and solve this. So no brackets, I'm not going to do anything with brackets. There are no exponents. There is a division, so I'm going to do that first. So 140 divided by 7 is 20. I'll just write it in blue just to make it a little bit clearer. 20 minus 6 equals 14. Okay, so did my division first. There was no multiplication. There was no addition. What was left to do was to subtract 6. So 20 subtract 6, or take away 6, equals 14. Okay, that's that. So for this one here, 31 plus 5 divided by 4. Okay? Now this tells me that 31 add 5 divided by 4. And this is one of the tricky ones that I was talking about in the two-step equation. For some reason, if it says 31 plus 5, then the whole thing is over 4, we do this. So it's implied that there are invisible brackets here and here. So in this case, we'll do the brackets first, even though we have to draw them in, because the way it's written, and if you say it's 31 plus 5 divided by 4, that's the way that you're saying it, is the way that it's done. So it's implying there's brackets. So my advice is that if you ever see anything like this, straight away, first thing to do, put brackets around it, and then use BEDMAS. So 31 plus 5, the reason why I'm going to do that first is that it's now in brackets. It will throw you. It'll be one of those things that you're like, I don't understand why, or it's a little bit tricky, or it might trip you up. But the more that you practice it, and the more that you see it, the easier it will become. So then brackets first, so 31 plus 5, so this is 36. So I've done my bracket. There aren't any exponents. So the next thing, and the only thing left to do, is then to divide by 4. And 36 divided by 4 is 9. Okay? So what we're doing is we're actually going with BEDMAS, brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction, to find and solve the equation. So in this case here, we're going multiply first, then add to give us 71. So we're going to find this number. Okay? And hopefully if you understand that, then the next bit, which I'll do on this half of the board, will start to make sense. So we're following BEDMAS to find a number. So let's just turn this into the two-step equations from the two-step video, just to show you what this means. So instead of having 7 as our answer, I'm going to change 7 into a letter. So this is now going to become algebra. And now this is going to become 9a plus 8 equals 71. Now you'll see that we've already got a number on this side. Before we're using BEDMAS to find out what the answer is, this time we've already got the answer. So I'll just write BEDMAS here. So instead of going brackets, exponents, division, multiply, addition and subtraction, which is what we've been doing. Actually, let me change this just around, because that might be a little bit confusing. So let me just write it like I had it previously. And before, on this side, BEDMAS was here, and we worked with BEDMAS to solve the equation. You can see that the arrow's pointing over to this side, okay? What we're trying to do is we're trying to find out what this is. So instead of going this way with BEDMAS to find the answer here, this arrow is pointing to the answer over here, this is the way we're going to get to here. This time we're actually got the answer, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to work out what the A is. So what we're going to do then is we're going to work the opposite way to BEDMAS. So this means that subtraction would be the first thing, addition would be the second, multiply, divide, exponents and brackets last. Okay? Again, this just takes a little bit of practice. Again, doing it this way means that you've got a real solid foundation for algebra in the future, because if you just wing it or go, yeah, I understand it, and can actually see it yourself, it'll be good for the simple stuff, but once it starts to get really complicated, it's almost impossible to visualise and go, oh, it must be this. You have to have a process to be able to work it out. This is the process. So this time we don't have subtraction. So we're not going to subtract, but we do have an addition. Okay? And what I'm going to do is, previously in the two-step, this has shown how to do it, but I'm just going to solve this one, just to show you that we've got the answer and we're working backwards to find out what A is, because A is on this side. Therefore, we're working backwards through BEDMAS. So instead of plus A, minus A. Because you do the opposite to it. So this then becomes 9A equals, well, 71 take away 8 is 63. I still have a letter and a number on this side, and what I'm after is I'm after A equals a number. Right now I've got a number and a letter equaling a number. I want A equals a number. So now I've got 9 times A equals 63. Opposite to times is divide. Divide by 9. Divide by 9. A equals 63. Divided by 9. A equals 7. And that's why you move this way through BEDMAS. We're not trying to find the answer, to the actual equation. We're not trying to find out what it equals. We've already found out what it equals. What we're trying to work out is what's the value of A. And that's why we work this way through BEDMAS.